Hi everybody, this is Tim Kaiver. We are doing a LitRPG Guildmasters Live, and we've got some guests today. Jamey Sultan, author of Fragmented of Divinity, and Kevin Sinclair, author of Condition Evolution. We're going to celebrate his release today of Condition Evolution 2 and just talk about LitRPG. So welcome guys, thanks for coming on the show. Kevin, well, let's start a little bit just in general. What are you guys reading right now, and why? So we'll start with Kevin.
I'm not actually reading anything at the minute.
So you have been working very hard to get the sequel out.
Just came off the back of getting everything ready for the release, so I've got a few books to work through now.
Okay, good deal. How about you, Jamey?
I just finished Dungeon Crawler Carl, which was probably one of the funniest things I've ever read. And then starting Kevin's book today, and I've got Bright Blade and Hive Knight that I'm listening to in audio right now.
Awesome. Yeah, those are
very
some
confusing.
too many. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I would just say too many books at once. It's a little confusing.
I hear you. I've got 5 or so in my carousel, but yeah. I was up last night reading Unsold, doing some research on cultivation, and then also reading T.J. Reynolds' Guild Core, and about 60% in that. So that's cool. That's a lot different. Recently, one of the characters is like a dragon, a halfling dragon, and he has spell pieces that he puts on his dragon body that gives him spells, which I thought was pretty clever. So I've been enjoying that. So let's see, Kevin, for those who haven't read Condition Evolution, how would you describe what niche of LitRPG this fits into?
I don't know that it does. It starts off as sort of VR going into a game itself, but yeah, you've read it, Tim. You know what happens at the end, where we sort of move into a sci-fi world, if you like, so head off into space. So you know, it's half VR, half space opera, half ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot of humor in Condition Evolution. I've really enjoyed it, and very empathetic characters as well. So you have 2 main characters in Condition Evolution. Tell us a little bit about those.
I don't know. I just wanted to make real people in a real situation with sort of their own baggage. I read a lot of books where, you know, it's sort of more an idealized version of a person, where what I was looking at more, I think my main character Sean, a lot of people would argue that he's stupid in a lot of the decisions he makes, but I feel it's more sort of like a, how would you really react in certain situations, you know, like you do just react as a person, and you react with whatever your past was and whatever you're used to. And the same for Ember as well, absolutely 100%.
So what's the hook that gets Sean into this VR world?
Sorry, Tim?
What's the hook that gets Sean into the VR world?
That he's overweight. Yeah.
And so
he's overweight, and this is an opportunity to sort of have therapy, if you like. But the game's designed in such a way to improve his sort of mental abilities, and he doesn't so much have to deal with food addiction within the game. Rather, he's that busy doing other things like fighting trolls, that, you know, food's not really an issue anymore. It's taken that sort of, you know, potentially the boredom that he had in his normal life away.
Mm-hmm. So your cover has the cover for the first book has a glowing shovel that has a Tron-esque element to it. Tell us a little bit about the crafting in your book.
There is no crafting.
Well, I mean, like, sorry, for the powers related to like the shovel and that type of thing.
So at the beginning, sort of the first half of his stay in Anatolia, the world where he's been transported, he doesn't have access to any kind of weapons or anything like that. So he just tries to train the best he can with the tools he's got, which is a shovel and a pickaxe. And he develops the ability to imbue them with power. And any improvised weapon he can imbue with power. At a later point in the story, he imbues bread rolls with electricity and fights with the bread rolls. Somebody's got to.
Well, the thing on the cover of book 2 is definitely going to be a step up from the bread roll, I'm hoping.
Yeah. A huge step up. I don't want to spoil anything about the axe right now, but the axe is definitely a step up from anything we've seen so far.
Well, I'm looking forward to some bell pepper grenades. Can you add those in for me?
Book 3. Yeah.
What's tell us a little bit about the interaction between Sean and Amber. It's one of the things that I really enjoyed about that was they don't exactly like each other at the beginning, but it becomes a unique relationship.
Yeah, well, I see Amber's attitude more as just a defense mechanism against being hurt or, you know, sort of in relation to whatever she's had in the past. She's not so much being abusive to Sean, she's almost being abusive to the world just to try and keep it out. And hopefully we see as the story progresses that she starts softening some of those walls and starts letting the world in a little bit more. That also comes out in book 2. But she does keep a sort of fiery attitude throughout.
Yes, and that's certainly is part of the humor too, with the two of them. So you did mention a little bit about the ending, which I don't want to spoil, and it makes it hard interviewing someone when they've released book 2 because we want people that haven't read book 1 to enjoy that. What's the scope of the series that you have in mind right now? Do you know how many books you want to be, and the style of LitRPG that you're shooting for?
It's certainly sort of real world LitRPG now. We've moved away from the VR substantially. As for how many books, I'm not sure. No more than 9.
No more than 9. Okay.
Yeah, no more than 9. Only 9.
Only 9 is an upper limit. Somewhere between 6 and 9.
Okay, very good. That's ambitious. So how and hi to our guests. Looks like John Klein and Dan Sugarlinoff. Good to have you guys here. Let's see, Dan. I enjoyed Dan's books. He also writes a kind of real world LitRPG. So he's one of the first that I read in LitRPG. So that's cool to have him here too. And John's one of our adventure guild members and friends. He just released a new book for pre-order. I'll look that up here in a second. Let's see. So why lit RPG, Kevin? What made you want to write in that genre?
Well, I've always read fantasy and sci-fi. I used to read a lot of Asimov, Tolkien, and later David Gemmell. I don't know if you've heard of David Gemmell, but absolutely fantastic writer. Very like sort of heroic fantasy style of writing. And then so I spent a little while reading all of Aria Salvatore's sort of Drizzt series, the Icewind Dale trilogy, and The Legacy of the Drow. Are you familiar with those, Tim?
Yeah, I've the R.A. Salvatore one. The one I read was like the monks where the gems fall from the sky and land in the island, and then they use those powers. I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, for me too as well. Good few years now. And I can't remember the exact first lit RPG book that I stumbled on. I think it might have been Lion's Quest by Michael Scott Earl. I think that might have been the first one I read. Then I sort of moved on to, I read William Duran's Other Life, Harmon Cooper's Feedback Loop, all around the same time, and Blaise Colvin as well, the Delvers series, sort of. That was the sort of.
I love the Delvers LLC ones. Those are great.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Nora Hazard sort of spin-off as well. It's good books. So yeah, I mean, I'm loving all of the Guildmasters books. Like so I'm working my way through them when I can. It's a lot busier now. But I think one of the main ones that I go to read all the time is Eric Ugland and the good guys and the bad guys.
Haven't heard the bad guys yet. Love the good guys ones.
Yeah, bad guys is good as well. Definitely, big fan.
Dimitri's joined us. He said that he read all the Drizzt books and the last one made him cry. Aw, that's cute. I have one time I was walking. I would listen to audiobooks at work, and I was walking down the hall, and there was an ending to a Stephen King book. I think it was Joyland, and it made me tear up. And I thought that was strange to be like walking by people and just starting to cry. So I hear you.
Don't listen to any of Ash's book. Okay. Don't listen to that at work.
Yes, or without headphones, I'm sure.
Tears will be the least of your problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna need headphones to walk around listening to. Hopefully, if he makes it into book, Angel's new book, if he makes it into an audio book, the Great Centurion one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna need headphones for that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's happy release to you, Angel, and the Roman Centurion style lit RPG. That's exciting to see how that works out.
Looks great.
Walking around. Yes, thank you, John. And John, he's writing Egyptian style lit RPG, so that's cool. All the Age of Empires races are coming into our reading selection. So J. Arthur Klein, his book is Crimson Sands. That one comes out October 31st.
I saw that cover. It looks really good.
Yeah, that's cool. It has a little bit of that Stargate feel too that I love. So Jamey, we'll cover Jamey a little bit here. So Jamey, author of Fragmented Divinity. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration for that book.
I mean, I guess I started reading LitRPG like 5 or 6 years ago with Dominion of Blades, which is still one of my favorites. I love all of Matt Dinniman's stuff. Like, the gritty horror, but he still manages to make me laugh is really good. But so then I got into stuff like The Land, and I guess I wanted to write something kind of to that vein, someone transported to a new world, kind of thrown with video game stats, and just, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to write a lit RPG for a while. So I just sat down one day and I just started writing and tried to set a goal for myself of like 500 words a day. And I just sat down and I did that every day until I had something that was kind of terrible, and then I edited it and it was less terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You had, who's the editor that you used, Jamey?
Oh, Josh Mason.
Yeah, so 8-Bit Bastards. He's got some experience as a writer and a lot of experience in the genre. So you can tell that the formatting and stuff in your book is very cool.
Yeah, you saved my butt.
It's unique. The tables look really nice, so that's a unique aspect to it. So Kevin's main character dealing with food addiction, going into VR, part of his inspiration. What about the character that you chose for Fragment of Divinity that inspired you to want to write a story about him?
So honestly, when I was writing Fragment of Divinity, I didn't really feel confident enough to like make up a whole new character. So I kind of based him on me, which is why he kind of trips every time he goes anywhere. The other day I hit my head on the table twice, dunked my hand in my coffee, and then knocked my coffee over. 2 separate occasions. So I kind of just wanted to write a story about, I guess, what would happen to me if I got tossed in another world. And then the character spiraled into his own thing as I got more into writing it. But hopefully he's kind of taken on a life of his own now, and still kind of based on me, but different too now. Yeah.
So what kind of challenges does he face when he gets into this portal world?
Everyone just shits on him, man. He goes from one bad thing happening to him to another. It's I got a review from a very dissatisfied customer that he was like a ping pong ball being hit back and forth from bad event to bad event. And honestly, I think that is the perfect description of what happens to him. I'm trying to make it so that I feel like my book 1 was more of his intro to the world, where, you get tossed into a new world and things just happen and you have no idea what's going on. So then I'm trying to make book 2 where he's kind of starting to take control of his own destiny. He's deciding, hey, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I enjoyed the humor, that how he interacts with the notifications and whatnot. And there's different sections within the LitRPG community and how they like the AI to work. So how would you describe the AI and the game system?
Kind of a bit of a dick. Yeah, like I love reading AI with sarcastic remarks and stuff, so I added that in. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to have like some big reveal about what the AI is or that concept or anything. I don't know if that's necessarily part of the story, but I feel like I've got a grounding for if I did want to do it, I could maybe. And I just like I think the little undercuts of humor are kind of just fun for a lit RPG story.
Cool. And welcome, JS. Glad to have you here. I haven't read JS yet, but his books look great, and his covers and titles are fantastic. This is recent one, Frog of War. I love that. That's great stuff. Let's see. So what is your sort of scope for your series, Jamey? What are you hoping to do with yours?
I was thinking about make it into 3 separate trilogies, kind of where each one has, I guess, a kind of stopping point where I could stop or I could continue the story if I wanted to.
So 9 books.
So 9 books.
He doesn't want to steal your idea, Kevin.
Yeah, 7 or 9 books probably. I don't know. It would be kind of cool. I've got a couple of arcs I've got planned, and I've got some really nasty surprises in store for the main character in book 2. He just got that real nice sword in book 1. Be a shame if something happened to it in book 2. Not that anything will, maybe.
Yeah, that. So when I look at your cover, which looks awesome, it totally reminds me of Raceland, and that's one of the things that, looking into picking up this book, I was like, man, that brings me back to falling in love with fantasy through Dragonlance. Anything that you can say, or is that too much of a spoiler about the sword that's being displayed on the cover?
So I wasn't very subtle with my kind of comparisons. So if you literally just look up the name of the sword in Google, you'll probably figure it out pretty quickly what the issue is or what's going on with that. That's what I'll say.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the name of the sword?
Oh, it's Tyrfing, Tyrfing. So type that into the chat.
Tyrfing, huh? Okay. We'll have to look that up later.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all you need to know about what's going on.
Okay. So recent news here for the Guild Masters. Oh, go ahead, Kevin. What'd you say?
I was going to say it had a Norse sound to it. A Norse sound. Vikings.
Oh,
I just looked it up and it was a Norse sword, wasn't it? Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's up?
Just that the sword was a Norse sword.
Yeah, it is a Norse sword, yeah.
Yeah. Good choice.
Thanks. Yeah, when I started writing, I started writing a completely different book where it was going to be a kind of Hades versus Osiris, the two gods of death fighting each other over territory, and then none of that happened whatsoever. Like, that was my first draft. I could probably sell as a completely separate book.
It sounds like a good separate book.
I thought it was pretty cool, but then it just turned into something else. I don't know. But, yeah.
Maybe something to revisit.
Yeah, it was going to be called Becoming the Reaper.
Nice. Sorry, Tim, you were here?
I was just going to say, other news for the Guild Masters. Let's see. Well, today or yesterday, I released the novelette Apocalypse Archer. So I wrote a backstory for a character that we meet in book 2. Her name's Viera C, and she an EMP pulse erupts over the city while she's on a camping trip, and assigns her the class of level 1 archer. And so she has to find a way to survive when other people that are assigned different classes aren't so friendly and don't like the fact that she has a weapon that's better than theirs. So wanted to give a new entry point into the series. Cyphercraft series is very experimental, and I'm wondering if that I mean, I guess it's early, so I don't know how it's going to be received, but it feels a little bit like System Apocalypse type genre with this Apocalypse Archer, but book 1 is a mystery hard SF style, and then book 2 is a portal fantasy. So just a different entry point to give another perspective of how the world is.
I'm looking forward to reading book 2 with the jump from the kind of book 1, 2, and Iseki. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. The portal fantasy type book, but that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. And I got my copy of Apocalypse Archer this morning too. You guys are killing me with all these releases. I've been like buying books left and right. I'm gonna go broke.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jamie. Thanks for your support, buddy. I appreciate it. And then let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. Were you going to say something?
Jamie, and all the books you bought as well, and all your own books you bought.
Oh my God! Don't even a lot. All the old ones too. I basically went through all the Guildmaster's books and picked up a copy to get through it. Just, let's not talk about my book bill this month.
So, so Jamey, when you read, what's kind of the genre that you try to do, or is it simply just a Guildmaster's title comes out and you read it, or is there more strategy than that?
Well, before I joined the guild, it was mostly I would just read all my favorite authors whenever they had their releases, and whatever came out on Audible, I'd listen to. I'm more of an audio listener than a reader generally. But yeah, now that I'm in the Adventurers Guild, it's pretty much just whenever a Guildmaster has a release, I pick it up and add it to my ever-growing queue of books. That yeah.
Huge.
Yes, JS is also sharing that, but it's fun. We're blessed to have all the books that are coming out. I'm excited to get started on yours today, Kevin. I don't want you to ruin anything, but looking forward to some more jokes that'll make me laugh. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we head out today?
I really enjoyed your novelette, the Archer story, and I thought it was really good. I quite liked her friend, the one that she ran with. So I'm looking forward to good things from that story.
Yes, there's one of the things that I liked about, well, one of the reasons I came into LitRPG was Final Fantasy, and there is a part at the end where she goes that is reminiscent of Final Fantasy III, and so I thought it would be fun to show how she got there. And one of the elements of Final Fantasy III, just the background characters, every side character has their story, and so I was excited to share that. Mm-hmm. Thanks, John. He said he's in the middle of Cypher's Quest. Appreciate that.
So how many are you writing, Tim?
What's that? I'm sorry.
How many are you writing for the Cypher's Quest universe that you've created?
It's going to be 5 books. There is some foreshadowing in the first book that the reason why this power, the Cypher, has returned is the Osuna, which is an evil race. It's been dominating the galaxy and really genocidal in how they're destroying the people that my main character are a part of. And so there's going to be an invasion. And so all the powers that they're getting through the Cypher, they're going to use those in the 5th book. And so I couldn't end it at book 3. What I've done is book 1 is trying to open up the Cypher for everybody. And then it gets crunchier in book 2. And then book 2 is called Windwalker because the class that they discover is that. It's kind of like a paladin meets a dragoon. And then there is some city building. So their race to find Resurrection City is one of the main plots of book 2. And then so I built a city in book 3, and I'm like, I don't want to end it. I want to have fun with building my city. So so book 3 is a lot about that, and book 4 is going to be called Portal War or Portal Wars, and that is going to be a mix of modern or near future society that's been impacted by the portal that's opened and let monsters into modern day. So I'm going to have fun with that. I'm almost done with that book, and then book 5 is going to be Invasion. So after that, we'll try something else, but that's the plan. Oh, I guess I could announce so the narrator for this series is going to be Ryan Burke. So I don't know if you guys heard him. He is famous for Arcane Kingdom Online. Or at least he's famous to me for that series. I love I love those books, and listening to book 2 right now. Ryan has a great character. I loved how some narrators can be monotone in how they switch between action and dialogue and stats. But one of the things that got me into LitRPG was Nick Podell, and how when he read stats, it was fun. There's humor that he really hit on, and I feel like Ryan Burke does a great job with that too. It's not an audio drama, so they wouldn't let me do like the ding and whatnot that I liked with The Land, but it's still going to be pretty exciting. And so Ryan's going to start recording middle of November for that.
That's awesome.
Any news for either of you guys with audiobooks, or any plans for that, or is it under wraps at this point?
My audiobook's been recorded. It's waiting approval with Amazon. It's Audible right now. But that apparently takes forever. So we will see. It should be out sometime in the next month. I'm really excited for that because, again, I pretty much only listen to audiobooks. I don't read as much. So this is going to be, this is kind of like super exciting for me. Yeah.
Wow. That is, sorry, I was reading Dimitri's question. I'm going to ask that here in a second, Dimitri. Who is the narrator for your series, Jamey?
Dan, and then let me pull it up so I don't butcher his last name.
He did Battleborn with Dave Wilmarth.
Yeah.
And then any other books that people would know him from?
I don't think he's done. Let me double check, but it's Dan Wisniewski. And then let me look up his Audible stuff because maybe. Because he does do LitRPG and he's really good. He's narrated a few things of Marcus for Marcus Sloss, who's a great harem writer.
Yeah, I haven't listened to those, but you guys know that I'm a prude, so go right ahead and talk about those.
Let's see, I am.
So while you're looking for that, so Dimitri asked, do you guys have a happy ending or a sad ending in mind for your MCs? Any thoughts on that? I have an idea on my book 5, but I'm not going to tell you, Dimitri, so why would I ruin that?
I'll tell you. Happy. I only like happy endings. Life is full of sad endings. I want to read a book that's escapism and, overcoming odds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin. I'm planning on having a good ending. Like, I know my overall tone is dark and the main character gets screwed a lot, but I'm kind of gonna start letting him take over a little bit and, build up to a happier ending. So I'm excited about that.
That's kind of the point, isn't it? The journey between being a knacker and succeeding.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like that about your book, your first book, the whole addiction thing was just a really cool, I just really liked that. Like, it was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of the posts that I made about Kevin's book, Condition Evolution, was I can relate to that. I never really got, really overweight, but one time I went into a kickboxing class and kicked too high, and I was injured for like 2 years. Couldn't figure out, it wasn't a hernia, but it was bad, and it was both legs, and so I just hobbled around for 2 years, and I couldn't jog, and it was kind of depressing to not be able to exercise, and so Kevin's main character, he was on a roof, and he was protecting a younger guy on his team, and fell off the roof and broke his ankle. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
So, just somebody that we can empathize with and want to root for. Just bad luck happened, and like many of us could. Oh, go ahead, Kevin. What were you going to say?
Just just that what you're saying, he doesn't always make the right decisions. Nobody would, you know, logically ever fight on a roof, but that's what life is, isn't it? It's a series of decisions that you look back up on and go, you know, that wasn't the right one, or that one worked out for us.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, really. Just, you know, that's what I want to portray. Who wants decisions to always be the right or always be the wrong ones as well? You know,
he's a real person. He's making, you know, the decisions an actual person would make, not like these perfect decisions all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of tell from your book, Kevin, that we're looking forward to a happy ending. He's a good guy, and we like Amber too. So I enjoyed that. We'll just leave it at that. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. I want to get some reading done. So we're going to check out Condition Evolution today, Condition Evolution 2. I read some more Fragmented Divinity last night, so enjoyed that, and some funny stuff there too. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.